The Ivory Queen. A story of silence, steel, and vengeance. Logline. After a vicious betrayal leaves her disgraced and near death, a legendary CEO returns from obscurity, not to reclaim her throne, but to systematically dismantle the lives of those who built their fortunes on her ruin. Act 1. The Kingdom and the Knife. Scene start. EXT. Veridian Corporate Tower. Day. Majestic, cold. The Veridian Tower isn't just a building, it's a monument to one woman's will. Its gleaming, fractal glass surface reflects the city below, as if claiming it. Inside the airy-like penthouse, Elara Vance, 48, moves. She doesn't just walk, she processes. Her silence is more intimidating than any shout. She wears a tailored ivory suit, her silver-streaked black hair a sharp blade against her jaw. She surveys her empire from the floor-to-ceiling window. Her empire, renewable energy tech giant she built from a garage. Her closest circle, her round table, awaits her in the conference room. Marcus Thorne, 52, COO, her first hire, her once trusted brother-in-arms. Salt and pepper hair, a calming smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Chloe Summers, 35, CFO, a financial prodigy Elara plucked from obscurity. Chic, ambitious, with a gaze that calculates everything, even affection. Julian Forrest, 40, head of R&D, the creative genius. Disheveled charm, the only one who ever dared call her Elle and Live. Diane Vance, 70, Elara's mother, chairwoman of the board. A lioness in tweed, her love conditional on perpetual victory. Elara turns. Her voice is a low, clear cello string. The Ether Project. Final status. Julian lights up. It's ready, Elle. The battery prototype exceeds all specs. It's not just incremental, it's revolutionary. We can power a small town for a week. A ghost of a smile touches Elara's lips. This is her legacy. Marcus's smile widens. The board is ecstatic. The IPO for the Ether spinoff will be the largest of the decade. You've done it. But Chloe's tablet chimes. She pales.
Elara.
A leak. Veridian's core tech allegedly based on stolen intellectual property. The source documents, they're damning. And they're pointing to you. The room freezes. Elara's world, built on impeccable control, cracks. That's impossible. Diane's voice is ice. Explain. Before she can, federal agents enter. The arrest is a public spectacle, a brutal humiliation filmed by a conveniently tipped-off press corps. Elara, in her ivory suit, handcuffed. The betrayed look she shoots at Marcus, who avoids her eyes, at Chloe, who looks down at her spreadsheet, at Julian, who seems shattered. Only Diane meets her gaze, with pure, unadulterated disappointment. Montage: the fall. News channels scream. The Ivory Queen. Built on lies? The board, led by Diane, votes her out. To save the company. Her assets are frozen. Her name is mud. Her photo is a meme for hubris. The trial is a circus. The forged evidence is overwhelming. Witnesses, former employees she'd fired for cause, testify against her. Marcus gives a tearful testimony about discovering the truth and his duty to the company. She's sentenced to 8 years. As she's led away, she speaks her only public words. This is not an end. It is an intermission. Scene: prison night. 2 years later. Elara is a ghost of herself, but her eyes have hardened into obsidian. She receives news. Her appeal, championed by a lone, pro bono lawyer, has succeeded on a technicality. She's free. Waiting for her is not a friend, but KI, 50, her former head of security, a man of few words and unwavering loyalty, whom she'd secretly protected years ago. They thought you were broken, Kai says, driving a nondescript car away from the gates. They mistook stillness for weakness. Elara replies, watching the city she built recede. What of Ether?
Shelved.
Veridian is a hollow brand. Marcus is CEO. Chloe, his CFO. Julian, he left. He lives off-grid, a broken man. Your mother retired to her estate. And the source of the leak? The forgeries? Kai hands her a file. A shell corporation. Ouroboros Holdings. Traces lead to an offshore labyrinth. But the initial seed money, it came from inside Veridian. A discretionary fund only 3 people had access to: you, Marcus, and Chloe. Elara closes her eyes. The betrayal is complete. It wasn't just one knife, it was a conspiracy. Take me to the island. Act 2. Forging in the dark. Scene: a remote, windswept island, Various. Elara's secret failsafe. Not a luxury retreat, but a fortified data haven and a modest cabin. Here, she begins her true work. The elegant CEO is gone. She wears simple clothes, her hands calloused from manual labor and typing. She has 3 assets: a brilliant, strategic mind, a complete, hidden backup of all Veridian servers up to the day of her arrest, her sword, and Kai, her shield. Montage: the preparation. Elara and Kai, in a dark van, surveilling Marcus's new, obscenely lavish lifestyle. Hacking into Chloe's meticulously ordered life, discovering her secret, a terminally ill sister whose experimental treatments cost millions. Finding Julian in a cabin, drowning in guilt and whiskey. I believed them, Elle. I thought you'd cut corners. I was weak. Elara, studying not corporate reports but psychology, structural engineering, and the subtle art of collapse. She devises her plan. Not a blunt attack. Not murder. Deconstruction. She will not take their lives. She will take the meaning from their lives. Their pride, their security, their relationships, their very identities. Revenge is a dish best served personally, she tells Kai, her voice colder than the island sea. I will be the author of their final chapter. She re-enters society, not as Elara Vance, but as Everly, a reclusive, wealthy consultant specializing in corporate obituaries. She wears dark colors, glasses, alters her posture. The fire is banked, invisible. Revenge 1. Julian Forrest, the conscience. She approaches Julian not with anger, but with cold truth. She shows him the data, the money trail leading from Ouroboros to Chloe and Marcus. They played on your idealism to destroy me, and then they discarded the very technology you loved. Ether is in a vault, and they are selling cheap knockoffs. Julian's grief turns to rage. Elara doesn't ask for help. She simply states, I am going to burn it all down. You can hide here, or you can help me rebuild from the ashes with something pure. She gives him a clean, untraceable lab. Finish Ether. For the right reasons this time. She gives him redemption, making him her first, fragile ally. Revenge 2. Chloe Summers, the calculator. Chloe's weakness is her sister, Ada. Elara, as Everly, anonymously pays for Ada's next critical treatment. Then, she introduces a flaw into Veridian's financial AI, a ghost algorithm that will slowly, invisibly divert funds. She then meets Chloe as Everly and offers a deal. I represent clients who know about Ouroboros. They suggest you had pressures. A sick sister. Perhaps you were coerced. Turn evidence against Marcus, and my clients will ensure Ada's care for life, and you may avoid prison. Chloe, trapped between her love for Ada and her fear of Marcus, is caught in a vice of Elara's making. She becomes a pawn, feeding Elara information while sweating under Marcus's gaze. Act 3. The Ivory Reckoning. Scene: Veridian Annual Gala night 1 year later. The gala is at the city's museum. Marcus has bought Elara's old art collection to signal his dominance. He is at the peak of his empty success. Chloe is a nervous wreck. Diane is in attendance, a relic observing the decay. Elara, as herself now, walks in. She wears not ivory, but a dress of deepest black. The room falls silent. The music dies. She is a specter, a truth made flesh. Marcus sputters. Security. They're otherwise engaged. Elara says, her voice carrying. You look well, Marcus. Does the throne you stole still feel warm? She takes the stage, ignoring his protests. A screen descends. The unraveling. First, she plays the audio. Marcus and Chloe, 2 years ago in his office. The forgeries are perfect. The old professor, she bought the initial specs from his dead. By the time they figure it out, we'll have spun off ether and be untouchable. And Julian? His conscience will condemn her for us. He's predictable. The crowd gasps. Chloe sinks into a chair. Next, the financials. The diversion of funds, the shell companies, Marcus's embezzlement for his lavish habits, all highlighted. Finally, the coup de grace. Live satellite feed of a remote power grid. Julian's voice comes over the speakers, strong and clear. This is the ether prototype, my life's work, which you buried to protect your fraud. Watch. The grid, powered by ether, lights up a remote village reliably, cleanly. This is what you betrayed. This is what you tried to kill. Marcus is screaming, denials turning to pleas. The board members are on their phones, faces ashen. Elara turns to the crowd, to the cameras. Veridian was my dream. These people made it a crime scene. I am not here to reclaim it. The company is already dead. Its heart stopped the day they chose betrayal. She looks at Marcus, now being approached by federal agents again. You wanted my crown. Now you can have my legacy ruin.
She walks to Diane.
Her mother's eyes are filled with a complex storm, regret, pride, shame. You chose the institution over your blood. Elara states, no anger, just finality. You now have neither. She turns away, leaving her mother utterly alone in the crowd. Scene, EXT, museum rooftop night. Chloe finds her there, overlooking the city. My sister. Ada is stable. The trust fund is irrevocable, Elara says without looking at her. You will still go to prison, Chloe. But she will live. That is the mercy your calculations do not deserve, but that her life does. Chloe, stripped of every defense, simply nods, tears of shame and relief mingling. Kai appears. It is done. Elara looks at the Veridian tower, its lights now seeming sickly. Not quite. One final piece.
Scene int.
Veridian server farm, dawn. Elara and Julian stand before the master server bank. Julian inserts a drive. The Vance kill code, he says. A program that doesn't just delete, but ethically archives public projects, dissolves proprietary locks on green tech, and scours the financial system to reclaim every stolen cent and redistribute it to the employees' pension fund, and the village's ether will now power. It is a surgical, benevolent annihilation. Do it, Elara says. He presses enter. Across the city, the Veridian logo on the tower blinks out. Final scene, EXT, airstrip, dawn. Elara stands beside a small, sleek jet. Julian approaches. The new foundation is set up. The ether tech is open source. It'll spread like wildfire. She nods. Good. Where will you go? She allows a true small smile. It doesn't soften her, but completes her. To build something new. Not a tower. Perhaps a school. Or a garden. Something that grows, without needing to dominate. She boards the plane. As it taxis, she looks one last time at the city, not with ownership, but with quiet release. She took nothing back. She left them with nothing of value. And in that total, devastating victory, she found not joy, but a profound and lasting peace. The Ivory Queen was dead. Elara Vance was finally, truly free. Act 4. The Ashes and the Seed. Scene start. EXT, Veridian Tower, day 1 week later. The tower still stands, but it is a ghost. The logo is a faint shadow on the glass. News vans camp outside, but the story has shifted from corporate collapse to the Vance vacuum. Pundits debate, was she a vengeful destroyer or a righteous dismantler? Inside, it's a controlled demolition. Auctioneers tag art, movers box ergonomic chairs. Marcus Thorne's office is being stripped bare. He stands at her window, but the view no longer empowers him. It mocks him. A young lawyer approaches, holding a tablet. The federal charges are one thing, Mr. Thorne, but the class action suit from the shareholders and the clawback provisions in Ms. Vance's dissolution protocol, they've frozen everything. The house in the Hamptons, the yacht, the accounts in the Caymans. They've even placed liens on your wife's separate assets, citing evidence of commingling. Marcus's face is gaunt. The charming smile is a grotesque memory. There must be something. A deal. The only offer is from the DA. Full confession, naming all co-conspirators, in exchange for a recommendation of minimum security. Your co-conspirators, however, the lawyer clears his throat. Ms. Summers is already negotiating separately. Her evidence against you is substantial. Marcus doesn't rage. He deflates. The throne was made of smoke, and he is left choking on it. He is not led away in cuffs this time. He walks out unnoticed, into a crowd that doesn't recognize him. His kingdom was borrowed, and the owner has called in the debt, with catastrophic interest. Scene: a sun-dappled hospital room day. Chloe Summers sits by her sister Ada, 32, bedside. Ada is weak but alert, her hand in Chloe's. The room is paid for the next year. A trust fund statement lies on the side table. "You look terrible," Ada whispers, a faint smile on her lips. "I am terrible," Chloe replies, the tears finally falling freely, not of panic, but of purging shame. "I did terrible things for this. For you. I never asked for that. I know. I convinced myself it was the only way." She knew that. Elara knew exactly which lever to pull. "Will you go to prison?" Ada's eyes are clear, accepting.
Yes.
"But you'll be safe. That's the trade." Chloe rests her forehead on their clasped hands. "When I get out, if you'll let me, I'll just be your sister. No spreadsheets. No lies." For the first time since her arrest, Elara's face is not the last thing Chloe sees before sleep. She sees Ada's smile. It is a punishment and a salvation more profound than any cell. Scene: Int. Diane Vance's estate study, night. The room is all dark wood and inherited portraits. Diane pours a sherry, her hand steady but her eyes on a single photograph, a young, fierce Elara at the groundbreaking of the first Veridian lab. A business news channel plays silently on a screen. The ticker reads, "Vance Legacy Lives On. Open source Ether Grid goes live in 3 developing nations." Her butler enters. "Madam, a delivery. No return address." It's a simple wooden box. Inside, on velvet, rests the old, tarnished brass key to their first family garage, where Veridian was literally born. No note. Its meaning is devastatingly clear. You traded this for that. Diane closes the box, her regal composure cracking into a silent, heaving sob of loss for the daughter she sacrificed to the idol of legacy. Scene: EXT Mountain Slope, day 3 months later. Julian Forrest, wearing worn boots and carrying a toolkit, stands with a team of engineers and local villagers. They are overseeing the installation of a compact ether core at the base of a remote Himalayan village. Children watch with wide, curious eyes. His satellite phone rings. It's Elara. Her voice is calm, with a lightness he hasn't heard in over a decade. "How's the air up there, Julian?"
Thin. Clean.
"Honest." He smiles. "The 3rd grid is online. The local team is trained. They own it now." "Good. That's how it should be." He hesitates. "They write about you, you know. The Phantom CEO. The architect of the new Green Dawn. Some call you a terrorist. Most call you a revolutionary. Let them write. I'm not reading it. Are you happy, Julian?" He looks at the villagers connecting their first consistent, clean power line. Their joy is palpable, uncomplicated. "I am redeemed. Thank you, El. Don't thank me. You did the work. You always did." A pause. "Be well, Julian. You too, Elara." He hangs up, not with the ache of an unfinished past, but with the quiet satisfaction of a healed fracture. Scene: a Tuscan villa garden sunset. Elara Vance, in simple linen trousers and a faded shirt, is on her knees in the rich earth. Her hands are buried in soil, planting a row of lavender. The setting sun gilds the olive trees. Ki is nearby, repairing a stone wall, his movements efficient and peaceful. This is not a hideout. It's a home. Modest, beautiful, alive. A local delivery boy brings a package, a plain envelope from an international law firm. Inside are two documents. The first, a formal, legal notice that all civil and criminal proceedings against Elara Vance have been permanently dismissed, all records sealed. The state, embarrassed by the scale of the conspiracy she exposed, has quietly closed the book. The second, a single sheet of paper. It's a satellite image. It shows the Veridian Tower, and superimposed over it in elegant, handwritten script are the words, "The last of the dead is paid." The site has been purchased by the city. It will become a public park. They plan to call it Ether Gardens. Thought you should know. A friend. The handwriting is Diane's. Elara holds the paper for a long moment. She feels no triumph, no lingering bitterness. She feels a chapter, violently ripped and painstakingly rewritten, finally close. She walks to the edge of her terrace, looking over the rolling hills. Kai joins her, handing her a glass of local wine. "Is it done?" he asks, not of the plot, but of her spirit. Elara sips the wine, the taste of sun and earth. "The revenge is done. The life," she says, gesturing to the garden, the villa, the horizon, "is just beginning." She thinks of Marcus, trapped in a system of his own design. Of Chloe, serving a sentence with a glimmer of peace. Of Julian, finding his purpose in the light. Of her mother, tending to a hollow estate, forever haunted by the key in the box. Her vengeance was not a wildfire that consumed everything. It was a precision scalpel that removed a cancer. And on the scar tissue, in the cleared space, new things, better things were now growing. Not by her design, but because she had the courage to raise the poisoned field. Final scene, EXT, Tuscan Villa night. Months later. A small gathering. Julian is there, tanned and laughing with Kai. A few of Elara's new neighbors, artists, a retired botanist, the village mayor, mingle. There is music from a local trio, simple food, and easy conversation. Elara stands apart for a moment, watching. She is not the center. She is a part. She is not feared.
She is a light.
The botanist, an older woman named Giovanna, brings her a plate. "You are quiet, Mia Cara. Thinking of your past." Elara smiles, a true, unguarded expression that reaches her eyes. "No, Giovanna. For the first time, I am thinking only of the present. And it is enough." The camera pulls back, away from the villa, over the slumbering Tuscan hills, up into a sky brilliant with stars. The final shot is not of a person, but of the peaceful, living world she no longer needs to dominate. She has found something rarer, belonging.